This morning, the former White House press secretary and vice principal reassessing her life choices.
Sarah Sanders thinks childless women can't be humble. Guess she forgot about nuns. Or maybe she's never met my Aunt Mildred. That woman's so humble, she apologizes to dust bunnies when she vacuums them up. But seriously, folks, Sanders really stepped in it when she said Kamala Harris lacks humility because she doesn't have kids. Talk about a diaper load of nonsense. Don't worry though, Stephen Colbert's got our back. He's about to serve Sanders a slice of humble pie that'll make your side split. This isn't just about Harris though. It's about respecting all kinds of families and life choices. Because last time I checked, being a good leader doesn't depend on how many times you've been pooped on by a baby.
Attempted to defend the president against charges of racism.
Not only do my kids serve as a permanent reminder of what's important, they also keep me humble. Kamala Harris doesn't have anything keeping her humble.
So buckle up, Buttercup. We're about to dive into why using personal choices as political weapons is as smart as using a fork to eat soup. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. You know how some folks can't stop talking about their kids? Well, certain politicians can't stop talking about other people's lack of kids. What gives? Is there a secret parents-only clubhouse in Washington we don't know about?
You now work for the Trump campaign. Trump has said he's the biggest supporter of IVF. He wants the government to subsidize it. Meanwhile, over on Capitol Hill, they can't even pass a bill giving women the right to have access to.
Time to uncover the not-so-family-friendly truth behind this political playground drama. Sarah Sanders recently decided to play the no kids card against Kamala Harris, claiming she lacks humility because she doesn't have children. But hold on to your sippy cups, folks, because Stephen Colbert is about to change her diaper. I mean mind. First off, Sanders conveniently forgot that Harris is a stepmom to 2 kids. Oops! Looks like someone needs a refresher course in Family 101. But let's face it, this isn't really about Harris's family status. It's about using personal choices as political weapons, and that's as messy as a toddler with finger paints. Colbert didn't pull any punches when he pointed out the absurdity of Sanders' statement. He joked, "It's not like politicians are offering free babysitting." And let's be real, if they were, we'd all be a lot more interested in their family planning opinions. But here's the kicker. This kind of talk doesn't just make politicians look silly. It alienates a whole bunch of voters who might not have kids for all sorts of reasons.
I don't know what more to say about that. I'm disappointed in Sarah who was saying that. I'm sure I'm going to get criticism from the campaign. But I have to sort of defend somebody who's a stepmom. It's a tough job. People step into that role.
Maybe they're focusing on their careers, or they just prefer fur babies. Either way, telling them they can't understand the future because they don't have a mini-me is about as smart as using a pacifier as a microphone. The real issue here is that some politicians seem to think your worth as a leader is tied to how many diapers you've changed. But last time I checked, being good at government didn't require expertise in peekaboo or the ability to make airplane noises while spooning mashed peas. Colbert hit the nail on the head when he suggested that many great leaders throughout history didn't have kids, yet they managed to do pretty okay for themselves. Imagine if we'd told them they couldn't run a country because they'd never run a PTA meeting. Hold on to your sippy cups, folks. The parents-only political circus just got a new ringmaster. JD Vance is joining the fray with some head-scratching ideas about childless politicians. But is he really concerned about the future or just blowing hot air? Turns out, Sarah Sanders isn't the only one who thinks you need to have kids to care about America. JD Vance, the guy who wrote Hillbilly Elegy and is now running for Senate, has decided to jump on the baby bandwagon too. He's been going around saying that childless politicians like Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg have no physical commitment to the future of this country. Yeah, because apparently having kids is the only way to show you care about tomorrow. But wait, it gets better. Vance actually said on Tucker Carlson's show that America is effectively run by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made. Wow. Talk about a furball of nonsense. I guess in Vance's world, if you don't have kids, you must be sitting at home, plotting the downfall of America while surrounded by an army of cats. Now, let's break down this ridiculous logic. According to Vance and his playground pals, you need to have spawn to care about the planet. Sorry, environmentalists without kids. I guess all those trees you've been hugging don't count. And forget about all those teachers, nurses, and social workers who don't have children but dedicate their lives to helping others. Clearly, they're just selfish cat ladies in disguise. Stephen Colbert would have a field day with this one. Can't you just hear him saying, "Of course," because nothing says I care about the future, like adding more humans to an already overpopulated planet. It's not like you can care about climate change or education unless you've personally contributed to the school district's overcrowding problem. But here's the real kicker. This whole parents know best argument completely ignores the fact that many great leaders throughout history didn't have kids. I mean, George Washington didn't have biological children, but he still managed to father a whole nation. Maybe his wooden teeth counted as dependents? The truth is, this parents-only club some politicians are trying to create is as exclusive as it is ridiculous. It's not just about excluding childless folks from the conversation, it's about pushing a narrow view of what makes a good leader. Because apparently, the ability to change a diaper is now a prerequisite for changing the country. So, according to some folks, you need to be changing diapers to change the country. But here's a wild idea. What if being a good leader has nothing to do with how many times you've wiped a snotty nose? Stephen Colbert's not buying the whole parents know best argument. He's pointing out that judging leaders by their family status is like picking a doctor based on their shoe size. It just doesn't make sense. Colbert joked, "We don't judge CEOs by their children's report cards, do we? Imagine if we did. Sorry, Mr. Zuckerberg, your daughter got a C in finger painting. We're gonna have to ask you to step down from Facebook." Why? But seriously, folks, this idea that having kids automatically makes you a better leader is as outdated as a flip phone. It's like saying you can't be a chef unless you've grown your own vegetables. Sure, it might give you some insight, but it's not the whole enchilada. The real issue here is that we're focusing on the wrong things. Instead of talking about policies and actions, we're debating who changed more diapers. It's like trying to solve world hunger by arguing about which flavor of ice cream is best. Colbert's suggestion? Maybe we should judge politicians by their ability to, lead. Crazy concept, right? It's almost like we should care more about their ideas for the future than their family photos. This whole debate ignores the fact that there are plenty of great leaders who didn't have kids. And let's not forget about all the terrible leaders who did. Having children doesn't automatically make you humble or committed to the future. If it did, we'd be living in a utopia run by kindergarten teachers. The idea that childless people are selfish or don't care about the future is just plain wrong. It's like saying people without cars don't care about road safety. There are lots of ways to contribute to society and care about the future that don't involve reproducing. Colbert's encouraging us to look beyond these shallow critiques and focus on what really matters in a leader. Things like integrity, vision, and the ability to unite people. The boring stuff that actually affects our lives. Colbert really hit the nail on the head with this one. He showed us how silly it is to judge politicians by their family size. It's like picking a president based on their sock collection. Totally bonkers. The late night host reminded us that great leaders come in all shapes and sizes, with or without kids. He joked, "We don't judge CEOs by their children's report cards, do we? Imagine if we did. Sorry, Mr. Zuckerberg. Your daughter got a C in finger painting. We're gonna have to ask you to step down from Facebook." But here's the real deal. While politicians are busy playing Family Feud, they're ignoring the big issues. So next time you hear someone attacking a leader for being childless, remember, it's just a smokescreen. Let's focus on what really matters, like their ability to lead, not their ability to change diapers.